We've got some Raspberry Pi love for you guys today with a brand new 32 gigabyte Recalbox build. Over 7,000 games, pretty sweet stuff. I know I've neglected Recalbox over the years, but I'm really impressed with how far they've taken this. And there are a lot of new improvements with the recent release of Recalbox 6.0. So we're going to take a look at this build, see everything that it includes, and it includes a lot of awesome stuff. This is from Magnus RC. You guys know what's up. Really impressed. But before we take a look at the build, let's see what we've got with the brand new Recalbox. So 6.0 recently released. It is called DragonBlaze, and there's a number of improvements. So let's go down. What is new? There is a changelog that you can go over, but we're just going to go over some of the stuff they noted here. We now have Raspberry Pi 3B Plus support. That is huge. That is what I'm running this build on, is a Pi 3B Plus. We also have in the Raspberry family, the lesser known Compute Module 3 has been added, and a few other things. So that is really awesome. Demo mode, which I think is pretty cool. We've had something like this with RetroPie for a long time, but with this feature, when it's chosen in the Recalbox screensaver settings, you can put demo mode up and it will just randomly pick a game in a collection and start playing it. If you press start, jumps into the game. So really cool stuff, kind of made for, you know, if you're running like a bar top or an arcade machine, having that attract mode is kind of neat. We also have a bunch of new emulators. So there's more than 30 new emulators integrated, raising the number of emulated systems to more than 80. That is crazy. So they state it includes Atari 5200, Atari 8-bit and television, Sam Coop, Fairchild Channel F, Super Famicom Satellite View, Amiga CD32, NeoGeo CD, Jaguar, and many more. And you know what? About the 50 emulators we already had, they've updated all of them to newer versions. So that's really cool. Another thing, revamped controller support. This is always something of extreme importance in my eyes. They rewrote the code that handles controllers with a very particular care for Bluetooth controllers, and even more particular, the 8-bit ones. They've also added support for many new controllers, including the GameCube Mayflash, Zinmo encoder, which is pretty cool. I don't really care for Zinmo, but a lot of people do because it simplifies things, and it's nice to have that, you know, incorporated with the 8-bit M30 and more. So they've included a lot of new support. I'm actually using the PlayStation Classic controller, and it recognized it as such. So I thought that was pretty neat. Another big thing, they've put adaptive controller support. So the Xbox adaptive controller from Microsoft has been included for plug and play support. That is awesome, as it gives more accessibility to gamers. Really cool. So if you want to build upon Recalbox 6.0, I'll put a link in the description. That way you can download the newest version. Open source, comes with friendly support, a lot of volunteers, tons of stuff going on. So that is really awesome. But back to the build that we're taking a look at. So with this build, we have a lot of games going on here. We do have a favorites section, which I think is pretty neat. So with favorites, you can add your favorites once you're in a system looking through your games. Really nice way to access things when you have a ton of games on a system like this. I just threw in some PC Engine TurboGrafx games just to see how it worked, but pretty cool. Like the way everything's displayed. Love this theme. You get the information for all the games, the release, what the genre is. Pretty good stuff for sure. And then to go through all the systems we have included and how many games, we'll take a look at a few games in a moment here. We have Atari 2600 with 554 games, Daphne with 3 games, which is going to be what is it, Dragon's Lair 2, and Space Ace, some of the best. Really awesome stuff. Then we do have Final Burn Alpha with 609 games, Game Gear 313, MAME 1375, Sega Master System 362, Sega Genesis 937, NeoGeo 146, NES 1341. So that's going to include US and import games, Famicom games. NeoGeo Pocket Color 76. So that's going to be US and Japanese and European release titles. TurboGrafx 16, 286. So that's going to be PC Engine games as well, because there was like under 100 games released for the TurboGrafx 16. So that's pretty cool. TurboGrafx CD, 15 games. I believe that's mostly going to be PC Engine CD games. Definitely a lot of cool stuff in here. We'll take a look at something in a moment. 32X should be, 36 games. Sega CD, we have a total of 15. Super Nintendo, 1,045. So that's going to include some imports as well. Super Graphics, there's only 5 games for that system. A couple of them are pretty cool. So with this build, we've got a lot going on. Every system, if you can hear it, I'm pretty sure you can. We have specific music for each system playing. If you're just sitting there looking at it, that is pretty cool. To go into the menu, you hit start. So once you install this build, which you just use WinDisk Imager and just flash it to or burn it to a SD card. It is 32 gigabytes. I have it on a 64 gigabyte card. The first thing you'll want to do is input your controller, settings. So you will have to have like a keyboard attached to get into this. I'm using one of these little keyboards. I've used this on everything, Mister, my Raspberry Pi, Odroid, everything. These things come in handy. I'll put a link in the description for the one I use. It has like RGB lighting, pretty neat stuff. But you'll just go in there and then configure your controller. Like I said, I'm using a PlayStation Classic controller and it recognized it as a Sony controller, so that was pretty cool. You have UI settings. You can mess with a lot of stuff in here. And this is what I do like about Recalbox, is that everything is accessible from here. You don't have to jump into any kind of file system stuff or anything with a pre-built image. You just jump into here and tweak things to your heart's content. Advanced settings, you have boot settings, Kodi at start, game list only, boot system to favorites, or to whatever system you want. So pretty awesome stuff. Advanced emulator configuration. So you can go in and configure each system individually for certain options, what core you want to use, if you want, what the game ratio is going to be, smooth games on or off. I really don't like smooth games, but we can turn that off another way for every system. But if you want to do system specific stuff, that's the way to do it. So pretty cool with that. What else do we got? System settings shows what version you're on, how much disk usage you got going on, all that good stuff. So there we go. If you go into game settings, you could turn the smooth games thing off. I really don't like that. It just smooths everything. I want to see those sharp pixels, so I keep that off. And you can change the aspect ratio right here if need be. But like I said, you can change all that stuff per system in the other options. So I think that's pretty cool. UI settings, you can mess with the theme and all that. But what we got going on is pretty cool. If you hit select, you can shut down your system, restart, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump into a couple things, see how things run. NeoGeo, why not? Everything has bezels too. And if you're looking at the system, it's pretty cool. Most of the systems have it set up this way. You'll have the box art cartridge for most things, the game title logo, a little screen capture. From what I'm hearing, in the very near future, a newer update will have video snaps. Video snaps take up a lot of space, so you got to keep that in mind. A lot of times using video snaps, the snap will actually be bigger than the game file. So if you're just using images, you're saving a lot of space. You can put a lot more games on your build. So here is this, looking pretty good. Let's jump into story mode. Why not? And like I said, every system has bezels, so that is really cool. A lot of customization options if you don't want to use bezels and all that. But I think this works out pretty nice. And everything looks good, responds well. You know, I'm sure, people will ask about input lag with certain things. It's always going to depend upon what kind of controllers you're using. If you're going wireless, stuff with your TV with, game mode settings and all that. For me, when I've been playing with this build using PlayStation Classic controller, everything responds very well. I haven't had any issues. So that's really cool. Let's get out of that. We don't want to dwell too much on individual games. Just want to see the performance of a few things here. So let's continue on. Let's see what else. TurboGrafx CD. Might as well take a look at a couple things on our CD games. Really interesting stuff here. Lords of Thunder. Why not? Let's jump into that. And it has a specific bezel for the system. Instead of just using the PC engine, it has the CD-ROM bezel. So everything is neatly done. I think that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So there is that. Like I said, I'll show you what the smoothing looks like in a moment. I really don't like it. With this, everything looks sharp and crisp in my eyes. Never played this game before. Let's just get into it, right? Oh no, I've played this before. Really cool. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So there's definitely a lot of stuff to play here. Let's check out what's on Sega CD. That could be pretty cool. What do we got here? Android Assault, Final Fight CD, definitely a good one. KO Flying Squadron, that's an awesome game. Lords of Thunder, that's okay. So I think I might have played it on the Sega CD. I knew I had to be familiar with that. Popful Mail, pretty awesome. Oops. Sylphied, that one's all right. Not one of my favorites. Sonic CD, Time Gal, awesome stuff. So let's jump in the Final Fight. See what that looks like. Show you what it looks like with the without the smoothing on. Look at the logo, everything. The Sega logo looks really crisp, but when you put that smoothing on, looks like somebody smeared a thin layer of oil over everything. I'm not a fan of that. So I don't really want to look at all the other systems. I mean, there's going to be a ton of stuff. I just wanted to see the performance on a few things here so you guys can get an idea. But definitely a cool build. You know, with 32 gigabytes, that's not a big build. If you need a 32 gigabyte card, it's not that expensive. You can get this thing set up. The Raspberry Pi, 32 gigabyte card. You know, you're looking at under 50 bucks if you don't have everything. If you just need a card, you're spending what, like 10 bucks or so? Nothing major. Nothing major. So there's that. Everything loads up good. Sounds good. Definitely, you know, on my channel, we started out looking a lot more emulation stuff, and we've kind of spread our wings a little bit over everything, looking at a lot of other stuff. There's no right or wrong answers, my friends. However you want to play your games, be it emulation, original hardware, just imagine you're playing games. I don't know. You know, don't let anybody, you know, anybody's opinions on anything dictate what's right or wrong to you. You know, some people disagree with things I gotta say. It doesn't really freaking matter, man. Just have fun, quit arguing, just play your damn games. You know what I'm saying? Emulate it or don't. Repro card it up or don't. Flash card it up or don't. Original carts or don't. Original CDs, repro CDs, it don't freaking matter to me. Sure, we've knocked some things out there. Usually it's pretty funny. We've criticized some stuff. It is what it is. But hey, if you want to play your games on a Soulja Boy console, be my guest. If you enjoy it that way, that's great. If not, that's great too. Doesn't really freaking matter, you know? Let's get out of that. Turn that smoothing on. Give you an idea for what the smoothing looks like. So go back into that. Game settings, smoothing on. And then we'll just jump right back into that so you can see what the logo looks like. Like I said, I can't play these games like this. As you see, I mean, in the video, it might not look too bad, and it really doesn't. Some people might prefer it this way, but it just, look at that. Look at that. It's just a little more smooth and blurry. Not for me. You know what I'm saying? Definitely not for me. But it could be for you. So it's an option. It was on by default. So if I'm going to use this build, I'm not playing with that smoothing on. Definitely not. Get into the game. Just so you can see, here's the title, or the character select anyway. Yeah, not really good. This, like, you know, there's a lot of those emulation systems out there that the games are smooth and they look worse than this. Like, this doesn't look half bad, but I really do prefer the sharpness of the pixels coming through. So just want to give you an idea what that option looks like. So there we go, guys. Tons of awesome games. I mean, really cool build for sure in my eyes. What is this? Yoshi Safari. Everything you can imagine is on here. Definitely, I got to do some more content with the Raspberry Pi. You know, I haven't worked on a build in a long while, and I was working on like a disk-based one only. I might have to continue doing that. It is fun kind of going back and looking at this kind of stuff. I haven't really looked at Raspberry Pi stuff as much as I used to, but hey, I know there's still interest out there. Still a lot of people who want to play these systems this way. It's cheap, a lot of compatibility, and really cool to see Recalbox continuing doing their thing. So, hey, really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Just wanted to share this build from Magnus RC. Think it's really sweet. Join the Facebook group for more information on things. You guys know what's up. You guys know where to look. Somebody will tell you what's going on. So, with that said, do appreciate it, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-byes, and torquing it up. Boom, bye.